it's Lizzie. So today I'm doing what to talk about on a first date. I made a list of 20 things and I'm gonna go through them. This is gonna be a really simple video. My 7-year-old cousin helped to decorate my filming area today. These are all her toys. So we have Olaf, My Little Pony, and Pikachu. And then Doug the Pug. Also, I wanted to show you guys my shirt. I found this at Macy's and I was just like, yes, I have to own this. Also, to match the theme of my shirt, I got Dobby for Christmas. My dad got him for me. And I also have another owl from the Harry Potter World shop. So I'm gonna add, I don't even know where to put these stuffed animals. There's like so many of them. Last video that I made on Monday, the entire video was how to talk to a girl who you like, how to approach her. So go check out that video if you want to know more on this topic. But this is kind of just like gender neutral, sexuality neutral. Whoever you are, these will work. So the first one is jobs. I'm in my 20s, so people I'm meeting, we're all in the workplace. We're not students anymore. If you're in college, then change this to your major or your classes. Also, another video while I'm talking about this, I made a video how to not have awkward interactions or how to talk to anyone, something like that. And that is very similar to this video. So if you feel like in a lot of situations you don't know how to talk to strangers, definitely watch that video too. So number one is jobs, what you do, what you're doing during the day. I tend to ask a lot of follow-up questions and I think it leads to really cool conversations just because someone else's career is like completely different to your own experience, and so it's really interesting learning about someone else's reality, what their normal is on a daily basis. What I ask is like, okay, so day to day, what are you doing when you are at work? I force them to talk about specifics because I find it interesting. And then you can also ask about like, do you like it? Do you feel like you're flourishing at the job? Are you content with it? You can ask about coworkers. This creates a really cool conversations if they have like really annoying people they work with. There can be very like crazy, interesting dynamics with coworkers. And then you can also ask them how they got the job, like what did you study in college that got you this job. Number two, so what was your college like? Describe it. So for this one, I have a lot of fun because I just graduated college. If you're new here, I went to Pepperdine University. It was amazing. If you're looking at colleges right now, for sure apply. My school had 3,000 people. It was really small. It was a Christian campus, closed campus in Malibu. This is like so interesting to me because I want to know what other people's college experiences were like. I asked people like how many students attended their school, why they picked that, what their major was, what their friend group was like. You can ask about roommate situations. That creates really cool conversations. Do you live alone now? What is that like? What do you prefer? That can lead to other conversations like, are you an introvert or an extrovert? Also just asking about the college campus. One guy I was talking to, his college was like on a lake. No. It was on like an island and there was a lake around it, like a drawbridge type situation. And then he was telling me how he like swam to another island, which was like so crazy. And then I started talking about how there's this like abandoned night hike on my college campus. So just like ask specifics about like what their like nature of their college campus was like. You can also ask if they were in a fraternity, sorority. There are just a ton of facets of conversations within college. Philosophy. So I'm a philosophy major. I was a philosophy major in college. People always ask me when I tell them like what my favorite thing is in philosophy. So one of the things I bring up is restrictivism, which is like my free will theory, and so I explain it and I'm like, yeah, I think we only have 10% free will. Some other things to talk about could be like, what is your ethical theory? For me, I am like very drawn towards utilitarianism, so doing the best for the most people. Is there one standard for good, or can any behavior be considered good? Something else related to life philosophy that I always ask is what makes people angry and what situations do they get angry in? Just because personally, I do not want to be in a relationship with someone who has anger problems, and so I feel like this question, it's really important for me to figure out. Like I really care about knowing someone's like inner emotional dynamics. So number four, what is the craziest thing you've ever done? By craziest, say like most illegal thing, like sketchiest. About a month ago, I was talking to a guy and this led to like this police run-in story. So number 5 is pastime. So like, what are your hobbies? What do you do for fun? The most chill way to ask this question is like, so what do you do in your free time? What do you do when you're not at work? I have a ton of hobbies, so it's really easy for me to answer this question. Some people do not. They have like no hobbies, and so if they don't know how to answer the question, just be like, so what do you watch on Netflix? Because if someone doesn't have anything else going on in their life, they probably watch Netflix. For me, I play guitar, I'm a writer, and so by me saying that I'm a writer, it's like, oh, what do you write about? And then I'm like, oh, I'm working on a novel. What is your novel about? Like, these just lead to like huge conversations. Number 6, and I feel like everyone should be able to answer this question, do you like to cook? What do you cook? Do you do baking? What do you make? Every single person has to eat, and so maybe they have no pastimes and only watch Netflix, a show that you've never heard of. That might be like dead end conversation, but everyone has to eat. Like for me, I like cooking rice like all the time, making fried rice, rice with veggies. I love rice, and it's because a lot of my friends in college were from Southeast Asia, and so they taught me how to cook, and just being around them, I started loving rice. Also, I've lived in Thailand, and so the type of cuisine someone likes, a lot of times it might be like they traveled to that country, or it's like where they grew up, but also if you're seriously trying to like figure out if you want to date someone, this really shows whether or not someone cares about eating healthy. Number 7, did you play any sports growing up? Why were they your favorite? Which one do you like more? This can lead to really good discussion, just because I feel like most people played sports growing up, especially guys. I pretty much just always like intuitively ask this just because I did like cross country and track, ballet, like that was a huge part of growing up for me. Like I always had like after school practice. Sometimes people played like 3 sports. You can be like, oh, like what did you like about baseball? Did you like basketball or baseball more? Oh, you did football? What was your position? Number 8 is related to this. Do you like to go to the gym? What do you do at the gym? What do you do to exercise? Oh, you do CrossFit? Are you also paleo? If someone likes to go running, oh, where do you run? What kind of music do you listen to when you run? Just like a ton of questions from this. Number 9, do you like to read? If I meet someone who says they don't like reading, I'm just like, who are you? Like, how are we interacting right now? But with reading, I love to ask people what their favorite book is, what they read growing up, what they're currently reading, what kind of genres they enjoy. There's just like a ton of questions that can come from that. I have a very specific like favorite book, 1,000 Splendid Suns, and I could talk for like a few minutes in depth on like why I love it and how it's like changed my world perspective. Number 10, asking about their hometown, where they grew up, what their city was like, how many people went to their high school, have they ever moved in their life, what they do in their hometown, different like favorite places to go with their family, just like a ton of questions. Number 11 is very related to number 10, how they grew up, what their family is like. You could honestly just asking like how many siblings do you have, like are you close to your brother or sister. I had a really interesting conversation with someone where their older sister lives in the same city my best friend lives, and so crazy, his sister converted to Mormon and he wasn't allowed to attend her wedding. This is really cool. So number 12 is religion. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't talk about like politics or religion when you're getting to know someone. Yes, you should. That's like the most important thing. And for me, it's not even like someone who's a Christian, but if I'm gonna be talking like in depth with someone for a long time, if they like don't care about spirituality at all, then I'm gonna be really bored. I don't know what country you're watching from. Comment below if you're watching from another country. But if you're from the United States, like I am, in our country, it's like a very religious country. 70% of people grew up Christian, and so this isn't a touchy thing at all. You could just be like, oh, how did you grow up? What religion were you? A lot of people grew up like Catholic, Jewish, and they're not really practicing anymore. A lot of people—
Sorry, I didn't understand the question I heard.
Alexa, stop talking! You're ruining the video!
Sorry, thanks for the feedback.
Alexa, how do you talk to a guy you like?
I can't find the answer to the question I heard.
So you can ask them if they're still practicing, why they are, why they're not. I think it's interesting too if someone's a different religion than I am, just asking them about like their holidays, how they celebrate, what their practices are. Number 13, so this is related to number 12, but it's a lot different, spirituality. And so this is just kind of like do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in miracles? I got in a really interesting conversation about like dreams and how like dreams foretell things that have happened, just like different experiences of that. And I can talk about how Thailand is like so intense with like spiritual. One of my best friends from Asia can like see ghosts and stuff, and I have like a lot of stories with that. I feel like people who are like very religious have this idea that everyone else is like super antagonistic against that, but that has not been my experience at all. I feel like almost everyone is asking questions about stuff like this and not necessarily seeking, but I think it's really clear like the way we like feel and love. It's like there's these intangible things about being human, and so I think a lot of people like wonder about spirits and afterlife, like different things like that. And so talking about spirits, ghosts is really interesting. Number 14, where have you traveled? Where do you want to travel? Our generation, especially like everyone right now in our 20s, is super like wanderlust. We want to be traveling all over the place. If someone just got out of college, they probably did study abroad. I've been to Thailand 3 times, and so if someone asked me this question, I would have a lot of stories. If someone has not traveled out of the country at all, then you could be like, oh, like where would you travel? Or you could ask them like, oh, where have you traveled around the US? Talking about different parts of the country is really interesting as well. Related to this, you can ask like, what are your favorite cities you've ever been to? Where do you want to live in the future? But I feel like this just opens so many questions. Like if someone has visited a different country, like what their culture was like, what they did when they were there, what the food is like, climate, like so many different questions. Number 15, how many languages do you speak? As an example with myself, I know Koine Greek, and so that's crazy. Most people do not know an ancient dead language. A lot of other people might know like Spanish, French, they took a language in college, but some people may have. One person I was talking to knew like 3 languages, had taught themselves Korean, like all these crazy things. And so that is like so cool. It's interesting learning why someone wants to learn a language. And I feel like languages go along with cultures. So usually if someone is interested in the language, they've either traveled there, they want to travel there, they're interested in some part of the culture. 16, what are your friends like? What do you do with your friends? I could talk about my friends for like so many hours. I love my friends so much. I feel like I just like talk about my friends more than myself in situations like this. And so that's why I think this question is so fun. The type of people someone hangs out with shows so much about who they are, what they love, what they hate, like what they do. Like thinking about my friends, we cook together, we go out a lot, exploring different places in LA. So sad though, I'm not in California anymore. But I feel like most people are like me, where if they spend time with a lot of people, they like talking about them. 17, I don't know why I asked this, but were you big into partying in college? This one guy I was on a date with, he said he partied through law school, which is just like insane to me. And so because I asked him the partying question, that led to him explaining more in depth about like the people in his law school program, like what the classes involved. This is also something where you really get to know someone's priorities. If someone spends a lot of their free time partying and watching Netflix, it sounds like they're a really boring person. But also, alcohol is something that just like bonds together like cultures and people. I drank when I was 21, so like my senior year of college, I would drink with my friends. We would go out sometimes. I never really was into getting drunk, partly because of the Bible, but partly because I just didn't want to. I didn't see a purpose of like losing control, forgetting things, and having a hangover. I just wasn't into that. But it's interesting to ask people like, what are you like when you drink? For me, I don't change at all when I drink. I'm already so impulsive, so happy, super open with everyone. So when I drink, like nothing changes. I feel like there's a lot of like interesting stories that can come out of this question. And so this also relates to like what their college experience was like, what their friends are like. All of that is kind of interconnected. Number 18, do you have any pets? Are you going to get a pet? I live in the United States. I don't want to be like American centric. We already have enough of that in the world. In America, we love pets so much. It's like ingrained into our culture. For me, I have a cat named Christmas, and so if someone asked me this question, that would be like a 5-minute story explaining why my cat is named Christmas. Another question I just thought of that I've never asked before, but that could be related to this, is if you could have any pet in the world, what would your pet be? Number 19, if it is near a holiday, you could ask them what they do, how they celebrate, any family traditions, what is their favorite holiday, why. Like with the whole like friends thing, like people love their families, most people, and so they can talk for a long time about their family, like they grew up with them, like there's so much depth, like so many details there. So last one, and you guys are gonna hate this, number 20, politics. So I've actually been talking to like I always talk about this with people I just meet, just because, well, part of it is how they react to it. I think it says a lot about who a person is. If they're able to be calm, then it shows that they have like a very chill, solid temperament. Also just like their reaction to the election. A lot of people I've met like did not vote. One person I talked to kind of like regretted that they hadn't voted. Someone else was sharing about how they're so stressed, upset about politics this year, they've just like stopped reading the news. This is like a daily experience where like we're living in our country and there's all these changes, all this drama, and so it emotionally affects everyone a lot. And I think it's really interesting hearing like how people are feeling and doing. But mostly these are just things to like fill up any like awkward space. I feel like I am someone who's done a really good job of learning how to talk to people, how to ask questions, and part of it is my personality, but a lot of it is that I just moved a lot, and so I've had to always be like meeting new people because I'm like the new girl, I need to make new friends, and so I hope that all of this gives you a lot of ideas on how to talk to someone who you just met. And this doesn't even have to just be like in a date situation, but just like if you want to become friends with someone, if you just met someone and you don't know how to not have an awkward interaction. But make sure to check out the video I mentioned at the beginning, like how to talk to people without being awkward. Last week I talked about my new upload schedule. I'm going to be making videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so 3 times a week. You can either check my channel on those days or you can click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you get notifications whenever I upload. If you guys have not followed Doug the Pug on Instagram, what are you doing? Dobby is so cute. He looks really scared, but he's always scared. So I've started doing this in all my recent videos, so if you're still watching, comment below what your favorite pastimes are, what you do for fun when you're not at school or at work. So for me, I like to read, write, work out, play guitar, edit videos. So comment below what you love to do. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on Friday in my next video. Bye!